In July of 2019, journalist Sarah Cox and I headed to Prince George, British Columbia. We were on assignment for the narwhal and interested in the last remaining inland temperate rainforest, a globally unique ecosystem whose future will be determined by the BC government's decisions about industrial logging. We arrived to meet local forest ecologist Michelle Connolly, who studied at the University of Northern British Columbia, and Dr. Dominic De La Sala, the president and chief scientist of the GEOS Institute in Ashland, Oregon. Together they were able to paint a picture of the rainforest, where it sits now in British Columbia, as well as how it is situated on a global scale.
So we're going to go up the road. It's called the Fraser Flats Road. And it goes north of the Fraser, and we're going to follow it as far as it's been built. And in that area, there's some really beautiful old-growth forests that we're going to take a look at.
So we head out on day one to Fraser Flats and get our first glimpse at a stand of cedar old growth. This group of cedars is most likely over 800 years old and located in what I learned is called an OGMA, an old growth management area.
Their well-being sort of depends on how closely people are watching what's going on with them, and that's not ideal. You'd like to be able to trust that these areas are always protected, and you'd certainly like to think that you're not allowed to build a road right through the middle of one. That seems like a kind of incompatible use of an old growth management area. These things called recruitment OGMAs exist as well. So they place an OGMA boundary around an area of young forest with the belief that that's going to get old one day, so it'll be an old growth area. And that also seems pretty inappropriate.
You know, it took a while to get here, so we had to drive quite a ways, and I took a nap in the truck, and I woke up and I could swear I was in Malaysia. This is some of the worst logging that I've seen, and I've been all over the world in all kinds of rainforests, and it's really irresponsible to do this to an ecosystem.
Historically, logging has been one of British Columbia's most important industries, but it is in transition. Salvage logging for mountain pine beetle is now winding down, and companies are turning to old growth for their timber supply. Only patches of the rainforest are protected, even though the BC government in their promotional material call it a rare and hidden treasure. Canfor, one of the biggest players in the industry, recently announced it will reduce operations at 2 Prince George pulp mills and at sawmills in St. George and Mackenzie. The company also closed its sawmill in Vavenby, putting more than 170 people out of work. As we drive past one abandoned mill town to the next, we all know, old growth forest is next on the chopping block.
In an era now where we're losing species all the time, hundreds a day, and we have to think of the value of these last places in an international sense. I think we're down to something like 30% of the last primary forests in the world, and we're standing in one of them right now. And if we don't smarten up about protecting these places, we're going to lose lots of species. We're going to lose the climate change mitigation potential of these places. We could lose a lot of things. What we need is a system of legal protection for old growth. We need to look at where all the really old forest is on the landscape, so everything older than 250 years. And then we need to legally protect those areas. We need to connect them to each other and to other areas of primary forest. And that's the way to take old growth protection here in this part of BC seriously.
Photography has an incredible ability to tell us the truth. It allows us to bear witness and to share our accounts firsthand. We only explored the inland temperate rainforest for a few days, and though the future of old growth in the area remains unclear, it was an experience I'll never forget.